Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that, well, dives deep into complex info to pull out what you really need to know. Today, we're tackling something pretty fascinating. It's an AI-driven scientific study looking at human development, specifically ages 7 to 18. And this isn't just, numbers and charts. Think of this as your shortcut to grasping how cutting-edge AI might actually reshape our future, from childhood right through the teen years, in ways you probably haven't considered.
Absolutely. Our mission today really is to distill the key takeaways from this pretty dense report. It positions AI not just as another tool, but potentially as a transformative force, something that helps us understand and generate pathways for, well, optimal human flourishing. And it's incredibly broad. We're talking physical, cognitive, social, emotional growth, and even digging into moral development.
Right. We hear a lot about AI analyzing data, but this report sounds like it's suggesting something much bigger. AI as an active partner in shaping development. What does that actually mean? How is an AI-driven scientific study really different from, the research methods we've used for ages?
It really is a paradigm shift. Traditionally, developmental research leaned heavily on human observation, maybe some qualitative stuff, statistical analysis. But this report highlights AI going way beyond just crunching numbers. It's framed as actively contributing to understanding, and this is key, generating specific, actionable suggestions for development. Think of it less like a calculator and more like a meticulously designed partner, synthesizing vast amounts of complex info, finding patterns we might miss, and actually proposing ways forward.
That sounds incredibly ambitious. Integrating past, present, and future data, forecasting something as complex as human development, that seems like a huge leap. How does this psychological AI make those predictions robust when, like you said, human development is so messy, so ill-defined and unstable?
Well, that's where the different elements connect.
Yeah.
The AI leverages huge amounts of historical data, longitudinal studies, looking for patterns, building predictive models.
Right.
That historical grounding then informs what happens now in the present. You can implement AI-driven interventions, and the system learns, adapts based on real-time feedback. And then looking forward, it's predictive side forecasts, potential outcomes, what might happen under different conditions, which allows for more proactive strategies. And the core idea enabling this is what the report calls psychological AI. It's an approach that borrows insights from human psychology, like heuristics, those mental shortcuts we all use. It uses those principles to design algorithms that are efficient but also transparent. And that's crucial for tackling these fuzzy, ill-defined problems like human growth. It aims to make the AI robust and adaptable.
Okay, that helps clarify. And the report also emphasizes this interdisciplinary imperative. It's not just about the tech people building tech, is it? What does that imply?
Exactly. That's a critical point. AI in human development just can't be a tech-only thing, operating in a vacuum. It absolutely demands bringing together knowledge from all over the map. You need the hard sciences, genetics, physics, maths, working alongside social sciences and humanities, psychology, sociology, philosophy, ethics, education.
Wow, quite a list.
It is. The goal isn't just metrics. It's a holistic understanding of what helps humans flourish. It requires real collaboration to build systems that aren't just smart, but actually effective and, culturally sensitive.
Got it. Okay, before we get deeper into AI's specific role, let's set the stage a bit. The study focuses on 7 to 18, but it heavily flags the importance of conception to age 7. Why is that period so foundational? What's the key takeaway there?
Yeah, it's fascinating. Those early years, even starting before birth, are just incredibly foundational. Prenatally, you have essential structures like the neural tube, basically the blueprint for the brain, and spinal cord, forming remarkably early. Sensory stuff like hearing, that's online by 24 weeks. And by 26 to 30 weeks, the brain's controlling many basic body functions.
It's incredible.
And then in early childhood, birth to 7, kids hit these critical milestones everywhere: social, emotional, physical, language, thinking. Think about a 6-year-old refining coordination, counting, understanding cause and effect, becoming more independent. The real nugget here, though, comes from research on adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. It hammers home how profoundly negative and positive early experiences shape later life. So the idea is, if AI can analyze these early trajectories, maybe we can spot crucial points for intervention much earlier, supporting flourishing right from the start, much sooner than we could before.
Okay, so those early years really set the foundation, but obviously a child changes dramatically between age 6 and, say, 16. That whole developmental journey is huge. What are the major transformations AI needs to grapple with when it looks at that 7 to 18 age range?
Right. It's a period of massive change. In middle childhood, maybe 6 to 8 years old, Kids are refining motor skills. Their mental abilities are taking off. They become less self-focused. Friendships become super important. Then you hit adolescence, roughly 11 to 18. Erik Erikson famously called this the identity versus role confusion stage. It's all about figuring out, who am I? Who do I want to be? Abstract thinking develops, self-awareness increases, but emotions can still run high, leading to impulsive decisions. Partly because the frontal lobes, responsible for judgment and planning, don't fully mature until the mid-20s.
Still cooking, yeah.
Still cooking. And this stage also brings significant behavioral risks to consider: substance use, unsafe sex, school issues, delinquency. So any AI suggestions for this group have to be incredibly sensitive to all these dynamics. It's not simple.
No, definitely not. And all this complexity inevitably brings up the age-old nature versus nurture debate. How does this study frame that intricate dance, as the outline puts it?
Yes, the classic debate. The study really leans into the idea of gene-environment interplay. It's not one or the other. It's an ongoing two-way street. Heredity kind of sets the boundaries. You could think of it as a range of reaction, the potential range an individual has. But the environment interacts with those genes to determine where within that range someone actually ends up.
Okay.
There's this concept of canalization. Some traits, like basic motor skills, walking, crawling, are deeply canalized. They're highly predictable, less swayed by environment. Like water in a Dia Canyon, it stays on course.
Right.
Other traits, maybe like aspects of intelligence or personality, are shallowly canalized. More like a wide, shallow river, environmental factors can push development in many different directions within that genetic potential. Plus, you have epigenetics showing how environment can literally change how genes are expressed. And then there's genotype-environment correlation, like a child's natural tendencies might evoke certain responses from people around them. And genotype by environment interaction, where the environment actually moderates how a gene is expressed. It's incredibly complex. But the exciting part is AI might be able to analyze these super intricate patterns, potentially paving the way for really personalized interventions.
Okay, so we're talking about optimizing development. The report uses this phrase, a healthy, educated, and good child. That sounds quite aspirational. What does it actually mean in this context?
It is aspirational, definitely. The report defines this through holistic development, so encompassing the physical, mental, emotional, social, and even spiritual aspects of a person. A healthy child isn't just physically well, but also emotionally stable with good social skills. An educated child isn't just about knowing facts, but having cognitive abilities, critical thinking skills, the drive to explore. And a good child embodies values, ethics, demonstrating respect, empathy, knowing right from wrong. This includes pro-social stuff, helping, sharing, comforting, and character strengths too: bravery, curiosity, fairness, honesty, perseverance, zest, enthusiasm.
That's a lot to aim for.
It is. And this is where AI faces a really interesting challenge, because many of these are softer skills. Harder to quantify maybe, but absolutely vital for a flourishing life.
Right. Let's get into the nitty-gritty then. AI's actual applications, how does it really work in practice, in developmental psychology and education?
Okay, so in developmental psychology, AI can do things like simulate psychological processes to try and predict outcomes. And it can chew through massive amounts of longitudinal data collected over long periods to find insights into developmental patterns we might otherwise miss. And remember that psychological AI idea, it's crucial here. It uses human-like reasoning, those heuristics, to build algorithms that are efficient but also transparent, which is especially important for these fuzzy, ill-defined, and unstable problems like human behavior. The aim is to make AI suggestions robust, but also understandable.
This sounds like it could genuinely change things for you, the listener, whether you're a student, parent, teacher. What are the concrete benefits AI might offer in education?
Oh, the potential is huge. Imagine truly personalized learning. AI adapting the pace, the style, to your specific needs. Kind of like Vygotsky's idea of scaffolding, but maybe supercharged.
Like a personal tutor for everyone.
Exactly. It could provide instant feedback, help spot potential developmental delays or learning differences much earlier. It can also enhance engagement, maybe through gamification, making learning more fun. And for educators, AI could be a massive help. Automating admin tasks, like tracking progress or grading certain things, freeing teachers up to focus on the human side, teaching, mentoring, connecting.
That would be a game changer.
Think about specific tools. AI giving tailored recommendations for learning activities, visualizing progress clearly, helping plan activities, flagging skills that need attention, setting growth goals together. It's quite powerful.
So it's not just a one-on-one thing between the AI and the child, is it? Does the influence stop there? Or does this report paint a picture of a wider impact, touching everyone involved, parents, teachers, the community? What does that ecosystem look like?
That's a really important point. It's definitely described as a whole ecosystem. AI might be the central engine, analyzing and suggesting things directly for the child personalized learning, early detection, etc.
Right.
But its influence ripples outwards. For parents or guardians, maybe AI generates clear progress reports, suggests activities to do at home. For teachers and schools, it could support data-driven teaching strategies, help design curriculum, maybe even optimize resource allocation, and, as we said, streamline admin.
Okay.
Healthcare providers could gain deeper insights into developmental disorders, leading to more personalized treatment plans. And even at the community or societal level, the insights could inform policy, help allocate resources for programs more effectively. It's all interconnected, with feedback loops, aiming for better outcomes and, ideally, equitable access.
But hang on, if everyone's unique, how does AI manage that? How can it truly personalize for each individual child without just, well, reducing them to a set of data points? We're not all predictable algorithms, right?
That's a fair question. AI's strength here lies in its analytical power. It can be designed to handle human differences. It excels at processing complex behavioral data, looking at massive data sets from longitudinal studies. This lets it adapt to individual learning speeds and styles. It can analyze performance in real time to pinpoint unique strengths and areas needing support, then suggest tailored activities.
Okay, so we can adapt.
It can. But the big challenge, the risk, is ensuring the data it learns from is truly diverse and representative. If the training data doesn't reflect the full spectrum of human experience, then its suggestions might not work well for everyone. They might even be biased or misaligned for certain groups. So how we design these systems and what data we feed them is absolutely critical to avoid unequal outcomes. It's easy to accidentally optimize for the average or for certain groups.
That leads perfectly into this crucial issue of transparency. Explainable AI or XAI. Why is it so vital to be able to see how the AI reaches its suggestions?
XAI is non-negotiable, really, especially in sensitive areas like human development. You need understandability, you need effectiveness, you need trust. Many sophisticated AI models are like black boxes. Data goes in, answers come out, but the reasoning inside is opaque.
Right, we just get the result.
Exactly. And without explainability, how can a parent or teacher really understand why the AI is suggesting a particular path? How can they trust it? How can they identify if something needs adjusting? XAI techniques, things like T-shape or LIME, which try to highlight the factors driving a decision, aim to make that complex reasoning understandable, traceable. The goal is collaboration. AI is a partner whose reasoning is clear, not some inscrutable authority dictating what's best.
Okay, this report seems to really broaden the scope now. Arguing AI isn't just a tool for development, but part of this massive digital revolution that's fundamentally changing, well, everything. Human existence itself. Impacts on biology, philosophy, mental health, global equity. Let's start with biology and genetics. How is this digital age affecting us right down to our genes?
It's pretty profound when you look at it. The digital revolution intersects strongly with advances in genetic technologies. Think about next-generation sequencing, NGS. It's made detailed genomic analysis much more accessible, paving the way for precision medicine treatments tailored to your specific genetic makeup. And then you have gene editing tools, like CRISPR. Astonishing potential, right?
Yeah.
Eradicating inherited diseases by directly tweaking our DNA. But this immediately throws up huge ethical debates. Therapy versus enhancement, the whole designer baby concern. And editing the human germline, meaning changes passed down generations, that's incredibly controversial due to safety and long-term unknowns. We're even seeing concepts emerge like digital genetics, simulating evolutionary processes in computers. It's a whole new frontier.
And philosophically, too. It's making us question what human even means. That's a big shift.
It really is. The digital revolution is forcing a philosophical rethink, challenging old distinctions. You get ideas like extended cognition. Maybe our minds aren't just contained in our skulls, but effectively include the technology we use.
Like my smartphone is part of my brain.
Sort of. Well, at least part of your cognitive system. And then there are broader ideas about a post-humanist paradigm, seeing humans not as separate, but as nodes within complex technological and biological systems. Our identities are increasingly built and performed online in virtual spaces, which raises questions about authenticity, reality, how we relate to each other when it's mediated by screens.
And it's not just external changes. The report talks about a major impact on the mindset of digital natives, especially around well-being, maybe even spirituality.
Definitely. Digital media is woven into the fabric of daily life now, and it's a classic double-edged sword. Huge opportunities for information, connection, even finding communities around faith or values online, but also significant challenges. Navigating information, quality fake news, deep fakes, dealing with potential online harassment, the pressure of social comparison, which some studies link to poor mental well-being, maybe even this downward spiral of negativity.
Yeah, you see that.
And digital natives often construct their identities and worldviews differently, maybe more fluidly. So AI suggestions need to be sensitive to this diversity of beliefs and actively promote digital citizenship and well-being, not just assume one model fits all.
Looking beyond the individual, what about the bigger picture? Communities, global dynamics. The digital divide seems like a massive hurdle here.
It's a huge concern. This digital revolution isn't happening equally everywhere. There's a major digital divide. Big disparities in access to technology, internet devices, skills. And this can seriously worsen existing socioeconomic inequalities. It creates information poverty.
Right.
And if these powerful AI tools for learning and development are mainly available to those who already have advantages, you risk widening the gap even further, creating a kind of digital redlining in education.
That's a scary thought.
It is. So any serious plan for using AI in development has to include clear strategies for bridging that divide. We need to ensure progress is equitable, that everyone can potentially benefit.
Okay, with all this power, understanding how the AI actually works and its potential pitfalls is critical. Let's circle back to data patterns and bias, specifically in educational assessment. What does the report say about how that shows up?
Yeah, interpreting the data correctly is tricky. There are examples where, say, automated essay scoring systems, AI, that grades essays have shown biases. Their scores might correlate with the student's gender or socioeconomic background, not just the writing quality itself. The patterns in the data reflect existing societal biases.
So the AI learns the bias.
Essentially, yes. And then there's this subtle but important thing called the AI assessment effect. People actually change their behavior when they know an AI is evaluating them. They might try to seem more analytical, more structured, maybe less creative or personal.
Interesting.
It is. And this skewed behavior then generates skewed data, which is fed back into the AI, potentially leading to suggestions that don't fully capture the child's true abilities or learning style. So it's a feedback loop. AI assessment affects behavior, which affects data, which affects future AI suggestions. Needs careful handling.
That really highlights the need for human involvement. How do we make sure people, kids, parents, teachers, stay in control? How do we ensure human agency isn't lost in these AI interventions?
That's absolutely paramount. Optimizing the human-AI collaboration is key. There's a valid concern that just blindly following AI suggestions could diminish a child's sense of autonomy, their ability to make their own choices, self-determination. So the concept of hybrid agency comes up blending human judgment with AI insights. Responsible AI frameworks, like those from UNESCO, strongly emphasize human oversight, human accountability. AI should be a tool, a scaffold, powerful, yes, but one that empowers human decision-making, not replaces it. Humans need to remain in the driver's seat.
Okay. We touched on the idea of a good child earlier. How does AI intersect with moral development? Thinking about things like Kohlberg stages, and also the unique ethical challenges of the digital world.
Right. Kohlberg's theory outlines stages of moral reasoning, moving from simple consequences to societal rules, eventually to abstract ethical principles. You could imagine an AI system potentially supporting this, maybe presenting age-appropriate ethical dilemmas for a child to think through, or simulating the consequences of different choices to encourage perspective-taking.
Helping them practice.
Kind of, yeah. But, and this is a huge but, AI lacks genuine personal experience, social context, deep emotional understanding, all the messy human stuff that's vital for real moral comprehension. So its role has to be purely facilitative, helping exploration, providing information maybe, but absolutely not determining a child's moral compass. That remains fundamentally human. And this extends directly to navigating digital complexities or digital ethics. The online world throws up unique moral challenges, right? Exposure to harmful content, tricky privacy issues, understanding the real-world impact of online actions, what some call consequence thinking, or even the risk of total othering, seeing online personas as less than human.
Yeah, definitely new territory.
So AI suggestions would need to incorporate ways to foster digital ethics, encouraging critical thinking about online choices, understanding digital privacy, considering the broader impact of what you do and say online, building thoughtful digital citizens.
Okay, one last area on human nature. Why do people break rules? Why does intergroup conflict happen? Can AI actually nudge us towards more pro-social behavior, more understanding between groups?
Well, theories abound for why rules are broken. Social learning theory suggests we learn by observing and imitating others, including rule breaking. Sociological theories like social strain or labeling theory offer other explanations based on societal pressures or identities. For intergroup conflict, you have social identity theory, the whole us versus them dynamic, in-groups favoring themselves over out-groups, leading to prejudice. And realistic conflict theory suggests conflict arises from competition over limited resources.
So deep-seated stuff.
Very deep-seated. But could AI help? The report suggests its suggestions could target these roots, maybe by designing interventions that actively promote and reward pro-social actions, helping, sharing, comforting, using principles from social learning theory to model positive outcomes.
Make being good seem beneficial.
In a way, yes. Or designing educational experiences aimed squarely at fostering empathy and reducing bias, helping people see past those in-group out-group lines. And potentially, AI could provide really clear, data-driven illustrations of the long-term negative consequences of things like aggression or persistent conflict, making those abstract future harms feel more tangible, more real, which might act as a deterrent.
Okay, this has all been building towards quite a grand vision. The report mentions universal AI suggestions for a harmonious, prosperous society. But universal, how is that even possible with such incredible cultural diversity?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? A single one-size-fits-all AI suggestion across all cultures. That seems incredibly challenging, maybe impossible, given the vast differences in parenting, values, definitions of success. So, the report suggests AI's role isn't to be prescriptive, not to dictate the right way. Instead, it should focus on identifying foundational principles that seem to support holistic development everywhere. Things like human rights, dignity, valuing diversity, environmental awareness principles echoed by organizations like UNESCO. AI could identify common underlying human needs for flourishing, then offer flexible frameworks that can be adapted locally, respecting cultural context. Find the common ground, then allow for variation.
So it needs to get smart about culture, understanding different parenting styles, maybe even how different societies value leadership qualities.
Exactly. Parenting styles are a great example. What's considered ideal, say, authoritative parenting in many Western contexts versus maybe more interdependent, collectivistic approaches elsewhere reflects deep cultural values about what constitutes a successful adult. An AI pushing just one model would likely fail or even cause harm. Instead, it needs to learn from diverse data to offer suggestions that resonate locally. Same with leadership. The qualities valued in a leader can be very culturally contingent. AI shouldn't impose a single global leadership model. Perhaps it could assess traits linked to success within specific cultural contexts, maybe effective communication styles or social intelligence demonstrated in ways relevant to that culture, rather than relying on universal, potentially biased metrics.
Okay, and the ultimate goal seems even broader than individuals or societies. The report talks about a balanced universe, bringing in our planet. How does AI fit into environmental stewardship?
Yes, it connects human development directly to environmental sustainability, which makes sense. Our collective development impacts the planet profoundly. We know about population growth, our ecological footprint exceeding the Earth's capacity to regenerate. These are huge challenges linked to human activity.
Directly linked.
Directly. So AI could integrate environmental stewardship into its developmental suggestions. How? Maybe through personalized, even gamified education for sustainable development, ESD, helping individuals understand and track their own ecological footprint, suggesting concrete ways to reduce waste, conserve energy, and on a larger scale, AI can optimize resource management, think smart sensors in agriculture, making water use more efficient, optimizing waste collection routes, things like that. But again, technology alone isn't the answer. Success hinges on human understanding, cultural acceptance. The report mentions the importance of culture-based environmental ethics approaches rooted in local values, and this idea of an orchestral approach, bringing diverse perspectives together. AI could potentially help here too, maybe by translating complex climate data into culturally relevant stories or helping integrate traditional ecological knowledge with scientific data, finding ways to bridge those gaps.
So wrapping this all up, after exploring all these possibilities and pitfalls, what are the core recommendations? How do we move forward responsibly with AI and human development?
Okay, several key recommendations emerge. First, robust implementation strategies are crucial. That means demanding understandable AI, that XAI we talked about, proactively looking for and mitigating bias, including subtle things like the AI assessment effect, ensuring diverse teams build these systems to catch blind spots, establishing clear ethical governance aligned with principles like those from UNESCO, and critically, always designing with the human in the loop, preserving human agency, ensuring humans have the final say, fostering that hybrid agency where AI assists but doesn't dictate.
Right, keeping people central.
Absolutely. Second, actively using AI to foster pro-social behavior and character strengths. This could involve AI-powered character education programs, using AI to model positive behaviors based on theories like Bandura's social learning, personalizing character development support, and even using predictive analytics carefully for early intervention on risky behaviors. Third, we need strategic frameworks for how humans and AI collaborate. Think adaptive learning ecosystems where AI provides insights, but educators and individuals make the crucial decisions. Stressing truly interdisciplinary development, tech folks, psychologists, ethicists, cultural experts working together from the start, and promoting public AI literacy is vital so people understand these tools, plus using AI itself to help develop culturally intelligent leaders for the future.
Makes sense.
And finally, using AI for logical arguments and calculations to demonstrate value. Performing rigorous cost-benefit analyses of early interventions showing the long-term savings, optimizing resource allocation based on data, modeling environmental impacts using frameworks like IPTATE or ecological footprint analysis. This helps make the case for these approaches by showing tangible benefits and supporting smarter, evidence-based decisions, integrating ethical frameworks right into the AI's design.
Wow. Well, you've just navigated a deep dive into a truly forward-looking study on AI and human development. We've gone from the basics of how AI might differ from traditional research to its potential role in shaping our genes, our societies, even our relationship with the planet. It's not just data analysis, it's potentially about actively guiding our future.
That's right. The ultimate vision presented is very human-centric. It's about AI empowering individuals, helping everyone reach their potential within a society that's hopefully more harmonious and sustainable. AI as an intelligent partner, an amplifier of human capability, definitely not a replacement for human judgment or connection.
So this deep dive really leaves us, and you, with a big question to mull over. If AI really can start mapping pathways to optimize human flourishing, to help nurture that healthy, educated, and good child, how might society itself need to change? How might we need to redefine what success and progress even mean, moving beyond just GDP or test scores to aim for that truly balanced universe? Something to think about.
This is DigitView.